Hello, is this too close? Is this not close enough? Whereabouts? Here? Yeah, okay. Right, so hello, my name is Bobbi Rae. I am an illustrator, designer and artist, like it says on the tin. And I'm here today to tell you a little bit about my practice, a little bit about what I do and how I make money from doing something that I love doing, and also hopefully to give you a few little hints and tips about how you might make some money doing what you love as well. So I always like to include a little disclaimer in my presentations because there will almost definitely be a little bit of nudity, potentially adult themes, and I probably will swear at some point. Yay! So I thought I would start just by showing you a little bit of my work and telling you a little bit about my background, where I've come from. So I studied art and design at college, and then I went on to study textile design at university. That was at University of Leeds across the way. Then I worked as a graphic designer for a little bit, and then after that I came back here to Leeds Arts University to study for my Masters in Creative Practice. So this image on your left-hand side was actually taken from an exhibition that I created as part of my Masters project, where there was lots of soft sculptures, there was banners, there was prints, there was anything that you could imagine going on was going on. And like I say, I submitted that as part of my Masters. This little corner of the print that you see here, actually later down the line, was recommissioned by a company called Lucy and Yak. Don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're a sustainable fashion company, and they make dungarees, overalls, and all kinds of things like that. And they commissioned one of my prints to turn into this lovely pinafore, which you can still buy on their website. So, just to show you a little bit more about some of the different work that I do, I also paint murals. These are generally created in collaboration with some other artists, although not always. So this one here in the middle, that one was just me. The ones over on this side were in collaboration with Modes of Expression, and this one here was in collaboration with Third Eye Signs. So one of the things to point out with this is the benefits of collaboration. So in terms of being able to make money doing something from your love, if you are able to collaborate with another artist or creative, generally it can give you the opportunity to make something with a little bit more scope, or is potentially a bit larger or offers different services than those that you're usually able to provide on your own. That said, it obviously doesn't come without its pitfalls. Although pitfalls I think is potentially a bit of a harsh word, maybe just a little bit of, what is the word I'm looking for? Compromise. So yeah, of course, if you're working with somebody else, you need to be very open to their ideas, and you need to sort of be able to let go of your own ideas a little bit so that you can make something that is truly a collaboration. Although that said, it can be a great opportunity to make something amazing that you would never have been able to do on your own. So a little bit more of my work here. This stuff that I'm showing you now is quite different in the way that this is all completely self-directed. So these projects here are things that I've decided to do because I wanted to do them. There's no client in mind, there's no hoops to jump through. There are no humps either. Excuse me. But yeah, that said, although it is very much something that I wanted to create, I do always need to have sort of an end consumer or an end goal in mind. So whenever I'm doing my drawings, I've generally got a product or something that I will make from that illustration in the end, because of course, if I can spend as long as I want becoming the best illustrator possible, but if I don't have a product to sell to people, then I can't really make money from that. So the way in which I choose to do it is to create prints, zines, all kinds of things like that, and sell them on an online store. So again, here's a little bit more of the self-directed work that I've done, although actually not this one. This one here was for a company called Second Store, who are based in Leeds, and they're very much focused on working with female artists and designers, but I mostly included that image just because of the cute dog. So the most interesting thing to note about these products that I'm showing you at the moment is that I got all of these for free. So if financial concerns is something that are stopping you from being able to sort of get your work out there and make money from it, then these two companies' websites that I'm about to tell you about might be of real interest to you. So these stickers up here, I created these to promote the t-shirt that's underneath them. But what I actually did was I submitted them to a competition called Free Sticker Friday, which is run by a company called Awesome Merch. If you don't know who they are, you should definitely check them out, because since leaving uni, they've been like massively helpful to me in being able to create a business out of what I do and get great quality printed products out there. So I submitted my design to the competition. I won the competition, which is not as much of a big deal as I wish it was, because they actually have 10 winners every single week. And every single week they give out 100 stickers to every winner. So that's a lot of stickers. But the reason I'm telling you all of this is because I was then able to sell those stickers for £1 each, let's say. So that's a nice little tasty £100 in my pocket, which I can then use to fund other projects that I would like to do. The t-shirts as well, so they've been created using a company called Merched, who is also run by Awesome Merch. They're really great. I promise I don't work for them, but you should go check them out. But Merched is amazing because all you have to do is upload your design. You get a product page for your design, and then you basically have 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, it's up to you, to promote your t-shirt and sell as many as possible. So at the end of your campaign, then Merch promise to print and sell all of the t-shirts that you've sold and send them out to your customers. As long as you can sell 10 or more, they'll guarantee to do that for you. And the reason it's so great is because you don't have to give them any money up front, there's no risk or anything like that. It really is a matter of just getting your work out there, and then you get to make the profits on what you've sold. If you sell 10 t-shirts, you'll be making probably like £60 or £70, which is not a lot, but if you can start selling 50, 100 t-shirts, then you really can start to make quite a lot of money. So with all this free stuff that you can make, or even if you just get the mock-ups made online, they're really useful in that you can use all of these assets to build your brand or your portfolio, which you would generally put online. There's loads of really great free platforms for having a portfolio online. I personally find Instagram really useful. There's also Behance, which is apparently used by industry professionals and creative directors. But bear in mind that these different platforms do have different audiences, and you might use different ones to reach different people. So, for example, Instagram could be really great in finding customers for your work if you've got an online store. Whereas, like I said, Behance might be somewhere that you want to put your work to make sure that creative directors will find it, and then you might be getting commissioned for that big job that you were wanting to work on. I put this slide here just to remind me sort of where I was at in my presentation. But this one is about a question that people ask me quite often, and I usually find really quite difficult to answer, which is, what should I charge? So obviously I couldn't tell anybody what they should charge, and I also can't really tell you what I charge because it is different project by project, and any price relates specifically to the job that's in hand. The basic formula for figuring out how much you're supposed to charge is supposed to be materials plus the cost of your time plus your profit margin. So I get quite a lot of people saying to me that they're not necessarily that bothered about making a profit margin on their work. They just want to be paid back for their materials and for their time, which is fine if you're selling your work for yourself. But as soon as you start working with online platforms, or as soon as you start working with retailers, they're going to want a commission rate, which could start eating into the money that you've put aside for your time and your materials. So overall, in that situation, if you're not charging profit as well, then you are not being paid appropriately for your time and materials, and in reality, it actually costs you money to sell your thing for somebody else to make money on it. So bear that in mind whenever you're coming up with a price for something. Another difficult thing about that equation is knowing how much your time is worth. That's a really difficult thing to know, and again, I don't think I could tell you exactly how much your time is worth. It's easy to just pop a number into the equation. You could use minimum wage if that's what you think is appropriate, although it's not really my opinion that designers and artists deserve minimum wage, because to me the value in the work and the skills that they bring to it is worth more than that. But it really is about finding a number which you're comfortable charging and which you feel like is applicable to the level of skill and expertise that you can bring to a job. So this one sounds super boring, and I am really sorry for even bringing it up, because I feel like it's not really something that's going to be most of your concerns at the moment. But I do really wish that it was something that was my concern when I was your age, so that's the reason that I'm wanting to talk about it tonight. So the worst case scenario, if you don't have a contract in place and you're doing work for a client, is that you do loads of work for them and then they turn around and say, oh, thanks for that, but we don't really like it, so we're not going to pay you. And then even worse than that, what happens if 6 months down the line you notice they have used your work and they've not paid you and they've not credited you even? Like that's a real situation that nobody wants to be in that. However, if you had had a contract in place from the beginning, this situation is much less likely to occur. And when it does occur, it's much easier to be able to get yourself out of that situation and actually to still be able to benefit from it, to make sure that you do get paid for that time that you've already put in. Contracts really don't have to be complicated, they don't have to be filled with jargon, they can just be a simple document which outlines what you're going to do, for what price you're going to do it for, when your client is going to pay you, how much they're going to pay you, and if there are any loopholes in which they don't have to pay you, it's good to stipulate those there as well. Super boring, like I say, but if you do just create a real simple little document for yourself, it will make sure that you're able to be paid for the work that you've done in the long run. So I thought I would finish up my little presentation with some nice little top tips for you. Top tip number 1, as politely and eloquently put by Eric Spiekerman, don't work with assholes. If you get a bad feeling about a client or someone that you're looking to work with, if you find that you're not communicating particularly efficiently, or that there's any kind of other issues in the way of you working together, it's generally a pretty strong sign to not work with that person. In my own experience, I've trudged through and somehow managed to get to the ends of some projects that I thought I would never see the end of. But like I say, in my own experience, I've never really found that I'm all that happy with the end result, and it often feels like it wasn't really worth my time. So speaking of that, you really do need to value your time. As I was saying, you need to think about what your skills and what your level of expertise can bring to a company or a client that is wanting to commission you. If your artwork wasn't worth anything to the company, you wouldn't see companies like Nike or whoever spending thousands and thousands of pounds on these illustrations. But the reality is they actually add a lot of value to their company. They help them to sell a product, and you need to consider that when you're coming up with a price for something. I know no one wants to be that guy. No one wants to be me right now, telling everybody all about my artwork. But it is a really good thing to do, because it means that if you can tell the people that you know clearly about what you do, then you might just get a few little commissions from them. And all the better from that, if they're then telling their neighbour or their uncle or their cousin about their mate who's at art college, then they can do that accurately, and you can be sure to get more jobs that are like the jobs that you want to get. My final top tip, use protection. Don't actually really mean this, although it is definitely top tip. What I really mean is protect yourself with contracts. As I say, super boring, but it is something that's really integral, and it will really help you to cover your back and make sure that you are getting paid what you're worth for the jobs that you do. So with all that said, thanks so much for having me. I have one more top tip actually. I was going to say it's been a real pleasure to be here at the Arts University. As I said, I used to come here and I really, really loved my time here. But the facilities, they're amazing. They're award-winning for a reason. So if any of you are still students here, which I suspect quite a lot of you are, really do make the most of them. They're absolutely amazing. So if you can use those facilities in your last bit of time here to make some things that you can then sell, then it's a great way to be able to make money from what you do. Thank you very much.